It's going absolutely awesome, my friend. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing good. So I'm gonna ask you a few questions. Let's get into it. So tell me about the show you have, the Logan Summit Show.
All right. Well, the Logan Summit Show is kind of me doing everything, my friend. I've got obviously the top three interview on millions.co of last year. Very happy about that. Rommel, shout out to you and a great career. It's on the up and up. But look, man, I'm going to be doing some amazing things this year. We're getting together with Slap Fight. We're getting together with the UFC. We're getting together with our good friends over at Tough Enough as well. So a lot of big things happening. I'm going to be talking and doing a podcast with Cody James this year. Maybe a lot of your viewers are familiar with them. They've done a lot of MMA and a lot of celebrity boxing content, and we're going to be getting together, doing our thing. And I'm older, man. I come from the traditional side of media. I was on ESPN. I did a sports talk show on ESPN for a lot of years, and one of the things that I really wanted to accomplish was get over to this new media. I mean, all of this is new, like being a content creator, having streaming platforms that Bruce Buffer is part of. All of this is very new, right? I started in radio when I was 19 years old. And you probably don't even listen to radio anymore, Travis, do you?
No, I don't listen to the radio.
Exactly, because it's a dead media. Newspapers right there on the same page. But I wanted to get to if you're not first to market, you could be last. And so I wanted to get here first, and it's been an amazing ride. We had a lot of fun last year. I averaged, if you can believe this, Travis, I averaged 12 interviews a week last year.
That's a lot of interviews.
It is. Now, you've got your Fight Talk podcast, and you've got a lot of beautiful things behind there. Can you go through some of those accolades that you have for me?
Well, right now I'm doing a lot of interviews. Like every day, I'm probably doing like as many as I can. So probably like three a day. Getting the numbers up there. Interviews every day, doing them, and it's great. I get to promote myself more. I'm actually a fighter myself, so it actually
Right.
helps me promote myself. And I actually have an up and coming fight, 2026, the Ringmasters.
Oh, Ringmasters. That's a good promotion, man. Do you know who your competitor is? Do you know who you're fighting yet?
It's a tournament, so we really don't know. But I actually know this one guy. I lost to him in the past, and
Okay.
now it's going to be a rematch for him. And I look to getting the win.
Well, I'm out here in Viva Las Vegas, right? So fight capital of the entire world. I actually partied in Mike Tyson's house the other night, if you can believe that. It's true. Um, but I meet a lot of fighters out here just in passing. Like I'll walk by a gaming table and you got Alex Pereira just throwing down some money. That's the kind of thing that we do here in Vegas. Where are you from?
I'm from Long Island.
Oh, Long Island. Hey, man. All right. I'm East Coast too. I grew up in Massachusetts, Connecticut. I went to University of Hartford. So I have a lot of friends out on the island. Um, what team are you with out there, and what school are you with?
I go to William Floyd High School, and I train out of Freeport, PAL, with Coach Joe Higgins, and then you got the assistant coaches, Coach Pack, and then Coach Higgins Jr. You got Coach Sal, Coach Larry Stanton, who's getting an award actually in the Hall of Fame at the Ring 8.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, Hall of Fame, man. Yo, the other day, guess who I got to talk with? Roy Jones Jr. and Mr. Tony as well. I got to tell you, man, these older fighters that I grew up watching, as I've already previously mentioned, I'm a little bit older, obviously. And man, I grew up watching Sugar Ray Leonard, Mike Tyson at his prime. Let's not talk about those last couple fights. Mike, I got nothing but love for you, man, but he went through 8 blood transfusions. Do you remember what happened in the fight with Jake Paul and why it got actually postponed for about 8 months?
That's why I started my podcast on that fight.
Well, he went through 8 blood transfusions, almost died. Literally, Mike Tyson, the man, the myth, the miracle, almost died, and then was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go step into the ring." Now, coming from a younger age, what's the first fight you remember watching?
Of Mike Tyson?
No, just in general.
Um, I would probably have to say, well, Rocky, of course. That was everybody my age who would watch Rocky. Everybody.
I just interviewed Stitch the other day, who's in all of those movies.
That's my
Uh,
guy right there.
Dude, one of the nicest human beings on the face of the planet. Great story as well. And kind of the interesting thing is before the interview, I actually said to him, I go, man, I'm 47, right? When I moved out to Vegas, I thought to myself, am I going to be able to meet Stitch? Is that going to be a thing? He goes, nah, you're joking. I go, no, dude, every big fight that I watched as a kid, he was there in a corner for somebody. And then in the movies, all of the creeds, all of that stuff, he's an absolute legend. And now ESPN has has made a documentary of the book that was written about his biography, autobiography, however you want to go about it, because technically he worked with the author, so I guess it could be called an autobiography, but we'll go with biography now so that the English teachers don't get down on me. However, amazing human being, amazing story, and also just one of the sweetest human beings on the face of the planet. And that's what boxing is, though. It, Here's the thing. As I always say, get kids off the streets, get them into a gym. Whether you want to be the next Roy Jones or John Jones, it doesn't matter. And maybe you don't want to do either. But get off the streets, get into a community because that's what a gym is, right, Travis?
Yeah, definitely. You don't want kids to be on the street, and that's like the main goal of every boxing gym: keep the kids off the street. And back to you saying you interviewed Stitch. I had him on my podcast sometimes too. He worked some of my brother's fights, Joe Smith Jr.
Oh, are you kidding? You know what? Man, I've been so busy with CES out here in Vegas, I hadn't had an opportunity to do my normal due diligence with you. I know exactly who he is, by the way, man. Yo, give him a high five next time you see him for me. All right.
Yeah.
Now, you have a fight upcoming. What are you doing in preparation for this fight that you haven't done in the past?
I wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning and run, do all my road work, get it done. Then I go get a lift in at Unique Fitness, shout out to them. And then after that, I go to school. And then I go home, probably take a nap on the way to the gym, and then get that gym work in, some sparring, and then that's it.
All right, so I got to ask you the obvious question here is: what do your classmates think of you as a professional fighter? Do they have anything to say about it?
I mean, they like it, but then you always got those some people challenging you to a fight in school.
Don't fight outside of unless somebody's paying you. Don't throw fisticuffs, my friend. Also, you're going to get to an age where they throw you in jail, so you can't do that anyways. All right.
Yeah, they try. They
Well, you know what? Everybody's going to try because everybody wants to beat the best, to be the best. However, you already know you are the best, and you don't have to show that off if you're not getting that do re mi fa sol la ti do.
And for my next question to ask you, tell me about your time on ESPN.
All right. Well, here we go, man. I was just a young buck. I was doing rock radio. I had like 4 or 5 different colors in my hair at the time, man. And I was producing live events for ESPN. It sounds cooler than it actually is. It's literally you sitting in a booth and just moving knobs and whatnot. All right. And I was doing live sports updates, 2 minutes live, twice an hour, right? And I got known as the funny guy. And basically, Jason Jackson, who now does the TV side of the Heat games, if you're a Miami Heat fan and you've got love for the orange leather, you can check him out down on Sun TV in Miami. And there was 3 of us in the room, and I was the last person. And Jason asked 2 questions technically. He said, "Tell me your name and why you should be on the show." And the other two dudes, man, these guys knew what like Mike Schmidt from the Phillies ate for breakfast in 1984. Like these guys were on top of their game as far as stats and all of that stuff. I'm not that dude. I'm a personality guy. I read what's off the sheet in front of me. I will do the research, but I'm not that guy. And it got to me, and I said, "My name's Summit, and I'm prettier than these two mother." And I actually said the last word. And Jason looked at me in the eyes, and he looked at the two other guys and goes, "You two can leave." And that's literally how I got my first on-air gig at ESPN. And that could have been my career right there. I could have lost it in that room. He could have been like, "What the really, bro?" And just kicked me out of the room. But being in Las Vegas, I learned one thing. You got to go all in on yourself.
I think you should become a fight commentator. It sounds like you got that.
So I do work for USA Boxing. I actually did 4 hours of boxing commentary by myself because my guest commentator, the co-commentator, whatever it was, didn't show up. And with USA Boxing, you have to have a 20-minute intermission, and they generally give fighters and commentators and coaches their own bathroom, right? So I'm in the bathroom, and I'm just kind of like washing my hands, washing my face, just like. It had been 2 hours, like, come on. And this one judge from USA Boxing, he's about 20 years older than me, looks at me, he goes, "Kid," that's how old he was. He called me kid. He goes, "Kid, I haven't seen anybody do solo boxing commentary since Howard Cosell, and you are crushing it." And I was like, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah." So I've done MMA. I've done USA Boxing, obviously. Uh, I've done everything in between, from esports to regular sports, and you know, infomercials. Actually, I've actually hosted political events as well. I mean, if you're getting next time you get, well, the first time you get married, I'll host your wedding kind of thing. Like that's just what I do. That's what I've always been a part of. But I learned a lot from ESPN, and I still use this today. Whether it's me giving out advice to younger folks like yourself, and some of my best friends here in Vegas are younger creators, and they taught me how to be a creator. I didn't know what that meant, right? Like I can make money off of the account. Uh, but the one thing that I always go back to at ESPN, Stuart Scott gave me 2 words of advice, or 2 sentences of advice: show up early and be prepared. And that has never failed me. Look, I have commentated esports for 50 games that I've never played. Most of them I've never played. But you put the 9 hours of research in, you watch the videos, you take the notes, just like you must have to do when you prepare for a fight. Like you're not going in there blind. I know a lot of fighters sometimes don't necessarily prepare for the fighter, they prepare for themselves. But at the end of the day, come on. You gonna tell me you're not watching film? You know you are.
Yeah, if there's film out there, you got to watch the film of your opponent. You got to know what's going on because you don't want to go in there blinded. You need to have a game plan beforehand.
Now, what are some of the things that you've learned from your coaching staff that has surprised you on what you need to do to be prepared for a fight?
Well, usually basic stuff like keep your range, make sure you're in your stance at all times, don't square up. Mainly chin down, elbows in,
Chin down,
hands up.
yes. Mhm.
And that's
And
it.
I've got, if you look at my merch on millions.co, I've got merch that just says jab, period. Okay. And that obviously I'm trying to create merch for fighters because everything starts with the jab, right? It opens everything else up, allows you to work in and actually feel out the lengths between you and that fighter. How is your footwork?
Oh, my footwork's good. I get a lot of compliments on my footwork. And Larry Stanton, back to when you said the jab, Larry Stanton, the Hall of Famer, is always saying, chin down, hands up, just jab, jab, jab. These guys are usually shorter than you. All you got to do is jab these little guys today.
Well, that's amazing, man. When did you first get into a gym, and who got you there? Was it your dad, your uncle? Who was like, "Hey, man, you should get into a gym and start working"?
I mean, my whole family are fighters. My brother, obviously, former world
Well,
champ.
yeah.
Yeah, and my dad got me into boxing at a young age. First, I started off with mixed martial arts at 5.5 years old, and then I kept doing stuff, swimming, wrestling, and winning championships in all those sports. And then eventually, I got into boxing because I wanted to be better than my brother, and now that is my goal, to be better than him.
And you know what? You're gonna have to work hard to get there, but I believe in you, and I know you believe in yourself. You can tell by the volition of your words, obviously. And you know what? I'm sure you're going to get there. Now, some of the fun stuff that I'm gonna be doing this year, man. Like I said, I'm esports and sports, right? It's not just MMA, it's not just boxing, it's that. I'm going to be doing I'm gonna be the voice of the Blue Angels, you know, the the Air Force airplanes that fly and like 6 inches from each other when they do it. I'm gonna be doing that this year. I'm also gonna be doing a bunch of different podcasts that are gonna be super exciting. And I just had a meeting with Millions.co, and I want to give a shout out to Mario and Jose over at Millions, and obviously Bruce. I got nothing but love for you, man, because he still allows me to say it's time to break forth the rhythm and the rhyme. Yeah, I stole it a little bit. Just saying. I mean, is
And
that
tell me more, when you commentating 4 hours for USA Boxing. What do you think of amateur boxing today and from back in the day? Because I had Aaron Superman Davis on, former WBA world champion, and he was
mhm.
telling me there's a bunch of robberies. The judging isn't good today, and it's just bad decisions left and right. And the 8 counts are very fast. And you get hit with a good shot today, they're either stopping it, and that's it.
All right? So first and foremost, I got to quote Dana White: "Never leave it in the judge's hands." I mean, first and foremost, if you want to go out there, you got to go out there to win, and you got to put that other body on the mat. That's how you get it done. Now, what going back to what you were saying, there is a lot more wrestling in amateur boxing than I'd like to see. I've seen some really crazy things in the ring from USA Boxing, DDTs, body slams, things that you would never think of in a ring. So sometimes there is a gap. Also, one of the things with amateur boxing that's pretty crazy is they try to book like 22 to 25 fights on a card. And then they realize with time constraints, you can't get there. So then they're cutting these fights, and family members are getting upset, and they're not happy about I came here to see my nephew fight, right? I want to see that. And then you're not doing it. So there are some gaps in all of it. However, at the end of the day, USA Boxing is not a promotion. They're a league, if you will. So they're just trying to put on the best fights that they can do. And at the end of the day, they have to provide the best entertainment that they can for the audience that's there. And I realize it. And I love working with USA Boxing, but amateur boxing overall has some gaps. Okay. Like you said, the judging, but here's the thing, bro. If you're in college football, the referees aren't going to be as good as the ones in the NFL. That's just the way life works. So you have to take that. And going back to what I said earlier, and Dana always says it, don't put it in the judge's hands. It's in your hands. And you can determine your future right here with these two. That's all you got to do. So if you're complaining about the judging, you haven't done your job.
I mean, the judging is bad because they just don't know what they're doing. They need to take more classes as judges themselves. And Aaron Superman Davis said it, former WBA champion. And I even had Buddy McGirt talk about it.
Okay.
First world champion from Long Island even said something about it. And all these fighters are speaking up about it. But here's what they all say: They all say you have to be tough and just go out there and punch them right in their mouth because today most of them are mama's boys and can't take a shot.
Oh yeah, you know what? You're not wrong about that. Mike Tyson said it best. Everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face. And just because you can spar, and just because you can hit a bag, and just because you have good hips and you know how to throw your weight behind it, doesn't mean that when you get punched in the face, you don't run. And it's fight or flight sometimes. And the first time some of these kids and young adults get punched in the face, they go, hold on a second. No, that's not what I signed up for. I'm good." How did wrestling and some of these other sports that you've done help you in the ring? Because you're not obviously doing MMA, you're doing straight boxing, correct? So
Yeah,
how has that all helped you formulate your fight career?
well, I mean, it helps you get a foothold in sports, MMA. That obviously helps you with your discipline and your motivation and your mindset mainly because they're always telling you this, that, do this, running, drills, rolls. You got to do a bunch of stuff. Do a cartwheel, do this. You got to be locked in the whole entire time doing stuff.
Now, just the discipline as a teenager, waking up at 5:30 in the morning to go for a run, like your friends must think you're crazy.
Some people do.
Eh, but they've saw the success from the rest of your family, so obviously they can equate your hard work and your due diligence to paying off in the long run. What's the next step for you? Where do you see your career in 2026?
I mean, I see myself winning the 2026 Ring Masters and then going after whatever titles I can after that.
Do you have any wish list of promotions that you like to work with? Like Christy Martin's promotion, they're doing some fantastic things down there. Obviously, she's a legend in what she's done. Really brought to the forefront women's boxing. If it wasn't for Christy Martin, honestly, until recently, in the last, like, 3 to 5 years, you probably wouldn't be able to name another woman boxer except for Christy Martin. Do you look around the country and go, "Hey, this is where I wanna go. These are good promotions. They treat their people well. They treat their fighters well. I wanna be a part of it."
I like Matchroom Boxing, and I actually got the chance to interview Eddie Hearn, and I actually got the chance to meet Frank, the CEO of Matchroom Boxing. And that was nice to get the chance to interview Eddie Hearn, a big name in the boxing world.
Well, I absolutely love to commentate any of your fights. If that's an opportunity, please throw that out there. Obviously, I have the voice, and I'm tall, dark, handsome, and modest, so I have that working for me as well. Um, Dream fight. Let's talk about that real quick. I mean, that's the standard question for a fighter. Uh, when you think about yourself fighting somebody, who is it that you want to beat?
I mean, my favorite fighter is Mickey Ward, so if I could get a sparring with him one day, that would be amazing. I actually got the chance to interview Mickey Ward at his annual run, 5K run, May 18th. He has it. It was awesome to meet him again and interview him.
And how is it like from a younger perspective when you get to meet some of these heroes and legends and Hall of Famers and all of that? How does that help motivate you for your next fight?
Oh, that's a big motivation because when you tell them about your next fight, now you got to win it. Because say if you see them again, they're gonna be like, how'd that fight you did? How'd it go?" I gotta tell them I won. I gotta be like, yeah, I won. I gotta tell them.
Yeah, definitely. What's the most exciting thing that you're looking forward to this year? Obviously, without saying winning that tournament, because you're obviously going to go out there and crush that. I believe in you. You believe in yourself, and I'm sure your family does as well, and all of your fans do. But beyond that, what's one of the things that you're most looking forward to in 2026?
My number one goal right now is to interview all the boxing champions from Long Island. So I already got Buddy McGirt. Now next, Chris Algieri. I'm in
Mhm.
talks with him right now. He said Monday, 2 p.m. So let's see if that time works out for him. And then Joe Smith Jr., my brother, of course, and so on.
Yeah, man. I mean, obviously, you you got to interview your brother, right? Like when you're doing all these great interviews, is there ever a time where you're sitting around Sunday dinner and he's just like, "Bro, you can't have me on the show. What's up?"
He's a shy guy. He's shy.
Well, you know what? You're not shy, bro. I wish that I wish there was stuff like this when I was younger, because I would have totally been interviewing as many human beings as humanly possible out there, because I just think you can learn so much from listening to people who have done great things. And I also believe in taking good advice at any time. Look, I have this weird quote where I always say, if a goat could talk and it gave me good advice, I'd be stupid not to take it. And I really believe that. Like, you have to take good advice from all the people around you, all of the input that you have. That's going to make you better at everything you do, because learning from the other people who have stumbled and fallen before you, or been successful. Because, yeah, Sylvester Stallone was living in a closet in New York City, and he did a soft porn movie to make rent as he was trying to actively sell the movie Rocky. So it's not like anybody's, coming out there and looking for you. You have to go out there and take it. Are you hungry like that?
Yeah, and sometimes like everybody always says you have to go out in the world and take it. Like Dana White, he's always telling people you have to be hungry because most of these other guys out here nowadays aren't hungry, and you can't just sit there and watch them take what is yours from you. You have to go out there and take it yourself.
Now, you mentioned it earlier. Do you feel like a lot of these younger fighters around your age are soft?
Well, some fighters are soft, but some people, fighters, have the mindset I do, and I love that about some of the fighters. But some are soft.
All right, so who are the people in your gym that you look forward to sparring with, that you look up to, that have helped you become a better fighter and a better person as well?
I like to spar Jaden. He's an up and coming fighter. He's open. He's 15 to 16. In a month, he'll be 17 to 18 category, and he's
Mhm.
always good work to get those rounds in with. And Pedro, he's a big, strong guy. He's good to get in with because he's a hard hitter. So you got to keep that range at all times, or because if you get hit with a shot, you're going down. You got to keep that range, and that's what I try and do. And it gives me time to work on my range. So say when I get in the ring with a shorter guy, it's easy because none of the guys are going to be punching like that at my division.
Now, is the Olympics something that you look at and go, "I would love to be a part of that"? Is that in your range of purview?
I think about it a little bit. I do think about it.
Well, I mean, we need as many good fighters out there, because the rest of the world is kind of caught up with us. There was a point there in the 80s and early 90s where we were very, very strong on the international realm, but um, not so much these days. Uh, do you think about college at all?
Um, I don't really think about it too much because there's other stuff I can do, like start
Hmm.
businesses and other stuff.
Hmm.
Because that's what, like 5 years of my life on college. I would like to start my own business and own company by then and make money. That's what I've really been focused on since I was a little kid, is to become a rich person and a
Well, I
humble
mean,
person.
isn't that the goal, Travis? Is it for everybody? I mean, just to wake up and not have to worry about it. I mean, when your bills are paid, you can sleep a little easier at night, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you'd love to take care of your family, and also show your brother, I'm better than you. I mean, a gold medal at dinner, bro. Just think, I would wear that every night, every Sunday dinner. I would be putting that on and just going, "What? Oh, you don't have one of these? Oh, oh, I didn't even notice I was wearing it."
That's a nice world championship belt, but look, I got this right here. I don't think you
Yeah,
got.
yeah, that belt looks nice, but I got gold from the Olympics. I met Michael Phelps the other day, dude.
Tell me
D-
about that.
so I was at a celebrity poker tour, right? And actually talking with my good friend, the professor, who was an amazing and one player back in the day. He was the youngest and one player ever and has been able to transition from being an and one player into content creating and doing all of that. Travels the entire world playing basketball and showing folks up. And I'm just chatting with him, and Michael Phelps walks by, and he's a tall dude who has won. I do believe, don't quote me on this, but I do believe it's 23 gold medals. And everybody's trying to take pictures with him, right? And one of the things I learned at ESPN was the first time you meet somebody, unless they ask to take a picture or give you an autograph or something like that, don't do that. Make an impression upon that person. So he's basically doing selfies with everybody. Oh yeah. Do you think he remembers any of those people that he did a selfie with? Absolutely not. So I walked up to him, put my hand out, and I go, "Thank you for making our country awesome." And he stops what he was doing because he was still in that picture mode, and he looks me directly in the eyes and he goes, "Thank you. That means a lot." Now, the next time I see him, he will remember me. He won't remember the other people I took selfies with. And trust me, my social media account would love a selfie with Michael Phelps. However, next time I see him, he's going to be like, "Hey, nice to see you again." And that's the impression that I feel like you have to garner as a uh, as you intermingle with celebrities and athletes, and you are yourself a personality. I mean, I technically am. That's what I do for a living. I talk to people, and I'm pretty decent at it. So what I try to do really is make an impression upon the people so that when they come back, they want to work with me. And I guess that's the biggest piece of advice I could give you. There you go.
And tell me about Hartford, Connecticut when you were out there because I actually go out there sometimes in training camp with John Scully the Iceman and work
Yeah,
with
John
him.
Scully. All right. So my mom was on the board of directors for the San Juan Center, which is where Scully was training out of for a long time with George Cruz and the team out there. We did a couple ESPN2 fight nights out there when Scully had some of his bigger fights. Um, Great guy. I I love Hartford, Connecticut. I got to tell you, the first fight I ever watched, though, interestingly enough, that I remember watching. I was in like second grade, maybe fourth grade, somewhere around there. And I watched Sugar Ray Leonard, World War II against Marvelous Marvin Hagler. And I was in Brockton, Massachusetts, which, as you may or may not know, that's where Marvelous Marvin Hagler is from. And also, Rocky Marciano is from Brockton, Massachusetts. So it has a big, a big fight legacy out there. And I really liked Hartford. I also very much enjoyed um, the boxing gym. Just being able to go in there and interact with the kids, and we donated computers as like a family and stuff. So it was an after school program as much as it was a fighting program. But then to see kids escalate out of there and make a career out of it, you go, oh, okay, all right, this is super rad. Um, so Hartford, it's an interesting place, just like every city, but has a little bit of a grittiness to it and has been able to create a couple good fighters. And I very much enjoyed my time there. However, one of the things you might not have been able to recognize is when I was in college, I was actually a wrestling manager in ECW and NWA and the independent wrestling stuff. So I actually had to learn how to protect myself, tuck my chin. I mean, you know how that is, don't bro? Every time I see a fighter, not not with it, I'm like, bro, you're asking for it. I mean, just go call your mom the B word or something because you're gonna get slapped in the face. Uh, but I learned a little bit of toughness through all that, um, and just being in the Northeast as well as you. I mean, I always say when you go out to Long Island and you look at somebody, they could be shaking your hand and you're meeting them for the first time, but I don't know if they're gonna punch me in the face or tell me to come grab a beer with them, man. You guys are tough out there in Long Island.
Yeah, it's tough out here. You got a lot of tough guys out here, a lot of tough people, and you don't want to say something that could be offensive to somebody out here because you could be taken out back and getting beat up.
And no one likes that. What was elementary school like for you? Because you said you got into MMA very early on. I think you said 5 or 6 years old, something like that. What was that like? Because I used to get into a lot of fights on the playground, but your family history, I'm pretty sure your brother and your dad were probably like, look, you don't fight anybody unless they're stepping to you or one of your friends. Like, did you grow up with a set of thought processes on exactly how you used your fists?
Yeah, I was always told only if somebody comes to you and you feel threatened.
Hmm.
And say, like if they push you, you got to do something back because you can't just take a push in front of everybody. You can't let that slide right there. And then middle school, right? Like as soon as you feel like that space getting closed off and you feel like something coming, then you throw shots too because you feel threatened. They're in your space now, and you got to do
Hmm.
something.
So, what's the biggest thing that you could impart to somebody who maybe watching this right now, who's younger than you, who may be thinking about joining a gym, getting into a gym, starting a fight career of some sort? What would be the biggest piece of advice that you could give them?
I would tell them grow your social media account as big as you can, as big as possible, because the only thing they're looking for nowadays is a big following. They want to know how many followers you got on TikTok, how many on Instagram. Now I know this guy. He's with OTX Boxing. The first thing he looks at is how many followers you have on Instagram. Say you got 500, you're not getting signed. Doesn't
Yeah,
matter
well,
how good you are.
I've lost a couple contracts to people who had like 20 million because I've only got 8,000 on Instagram or something like that, and I'm like, but I'm better at
Yeah.
that than they are, and they're like, yeah, but they've got 20 million followers, and I go, you know what? I can't milk with that, but for a couple $1,000, I could have 20 million followers too. They said most big celebrities have bought over 1 million followers.
And the ads on Instagram too are only like $1,000. So if you just pay $1,000 for 30 days every day, there
Mhm.
you go. That's what 4 or 5 million views a day. Then you're picking up 1 million followers like every week. There you go. There's the followers right there.
Well, I work with a lot of younger creators out here in Vegas, excuse me, mostly because we shared the same management team at one point. But these kids, we did a video. I did a video with Mark Anthony, who was on Beast Games One. He's my content creator in crime out here. We did a video for Borderlands 4, one of my favorite games. And we got like 9.3 million views off of the video. And I'm like, really, bro? All right, cool. Why is that video good? And then everything I do. So I've learned a lot from just listening to younger folks like yourself and taking a moment to understand that the best thing that you can do for yourself is listen to great advice, show up early, and always be prepared. Those are three things that are life lessons, whether you're a content creator, a boxer, MMA star, or just somebody who's going through, maybe you're selling cars for a living. It doesn't matter. Those three things will allow you to be better at everything that you do. And that's one of the things I try to pass along as I get a little bit older, because I am getting into a point in my career where I am doing mentoring. I am teaching broadcasting. I'm doing a broadcasting class at Valhalla Esports Training Facility, and I've recently given 3 talks at UNLV School of Communications. on different things. And I'm trying to give back. And that's the most important thing that I think that I can do at this point is understand, hey, I'm still good at what I do. I'm still pertinent. I I mean, you call me up tomorrow and say, I got a fight tomorrow. I need a commentator. Guess who's going to crush that? This guy right here. But one of the best things I can do is talk to young folks like yourself and the rest of the people out there and say, hey, these are the things I've learned and I'd like to pass them on to you.
Now, is there any broadcasting you're doing up and coming?
Yeah, so I'm gonna be doing a bunch of podcasts for different companies. One's gonna be called Tough Talk, and that's a company that it's an app and it incorporates steps and mental fitness and all that stuff into a gaming platform. So the more steps you take, the better health, the more healthy you are, the better your character um, levels up and all of that. And I'm going to be doing a podcast with Mark Anthony once a month, focusing on that. I'm going to be doing a show with Cody James. We have not settled on the name quite yet, but it is going to be pop culture and MMA and esports and boxing and everything in between. And we're gonna be busting that out. We've already talked to Millions.co about that. I'm also going to be obviously doing the Blue Angel stuff and doing a little bit of that kind of stuff. But the exciting thing is the GGL, and that is Clinton Sparks, T Pain, Neo, Howie Mandel, and it's an esports league centered around celebrities playing with esports players as well. And I'm going to be doing a lot of work with them this year, and I'm super stoked about that. Um, I mean, literally every time I turn around, something pops up, and it's absolutely amazing. And one thing that I would like to say is when it seems like things aren't going your way, the best thing you can do is get up in the morning and put your best foot forward. And by that, I mean, you have to go out there and engage. And you talked about this earlier, Travis. Engage with other people, make things happen. You can't wait for stuff to come to you because it never will. If you're just sitting there going, well, oh, they should be talking to me. Well, why? Why? What did you do to get into the position of having them give you a call? I mean, the bigger companies like Mercedes and whatnot. If you go try to engage them on a personal level and try to get a brand sponsorship with them or whatever, they always say, "We'll find you." Well, you have to do something for them to be able to find you. And if you're doing nothing today, then guess what you can expect to happen tomorrow? Nothing.
And back to Christy Martin, her
Mhm.
promotions. I'm actually trying to get an interview with her. I keep messaging her, and you can see when somebody sees the messages. I see that she sees them. So January 30th, I'm actually going to be interviewing one of her fighters. So maybe, hopefully, that will lead to an interview with her.
Yeah, I mean, the movie just came out. Have you had an opportunity to watch it yet?
No, not yet. I do want to though.
Yeah, Sydney Sweeney doing a great job representing her. I don't think it did as well in the box office as uh her team and she would have liked. However, with platforms like Netflix and whatnot, it's gonna get some legs because she has a story to tell. And it's an who man, it's a story. I mean, she went through some things, and I get that, but like, you know, she's an inspiration for up and coming fighters like Brooklyn Barwick. She's 6-0 right now. She's like 4'11, by the way. She's this tiny little person that can punch really well. I would not be in a dark room with her with boxing gloves on because she would just kick the crap out of me. Um, but just seeing women like her come up and look at Christy Martin as a hero, as that Hall of Fame woman boxer. And you know what? Forget about putting the word woman into it, just as a boxer, okay? And getting in there and doing it. She literally raised up um, a generation of women to feel like, hey, I belong in the space. This is something I can do. Dana White once said, there will never, ever, ever be a women's division in the UFC.
And now there is.
Yeah, and it's one of the biggest things that they got going for him when you don't have Conor McGregor or a Diaz brother or John Jones fighting. I also think the way that the WWE has been able to integrate women into that as well has helped with other combat sports, even though it's predetermined. We all know that. And if you don't know that, sorry, there's no Santa Claus or Easter Bunny too. um, it has really opened up the opportunity for women in the sport. Now, how many women are in your gym, like actively training in Long Island?
Not many. I would have to say maybe I see 3 or 4 at the gym.
All right, and you know what? How is the how do people treat them? Honestly,
They treat them respectful, you know. It's a real boxing gym, so everybody just trains and does their own thing, and the coaches will come and correct you if you're making a mistake. So they get the same treatment as regular fighters in the gym.
As well they should, by the way. But I have talked to a lot of successful women boxers who say they prefer to spar with men because they know that it makes them better. However, they feel like the men tone down a little bit because, we grew up respecting our moms, respecting our sisters, and punching a woman in the face isn't something that comes natural, or it shouldn't, by the way. Um, have you ever gotten into and helped spar with those women in your gym?
No. One time I did spar women though. We went to I was at XL Boxing at the time in 2021, and we traveled to, I believe it was Connecticut. And I think it was Get 'em Boy Boxing. They
Okay.
renovated their gym at the time, but I went down there. I sparred a girl for about 3 rounds. I did go a little easier, and I actually,
See,
in mixed martial arts, I did fight a girl. I went a little easier on her and let her win because I don't want to hurt a woman fighter.
but what does that say about? I mean, it says a lot about who you are and the way that you were raised. But I bet you, if we were talking to that woman right now, she would have been like, "Why? Why would you do that? I'm in there just like you. I'm pounding it out. I'm grinding it out. I'm doing the work. I'm putting the time in. You need to hit me as hard as you hit everybody else." What would you say?
I would say men have a big difference in strength.
Hmm.
Now, this guy Pedro, imagine him fighting a woman. How I just said he can crack. If he fought a woman fighter, then that's not going to end well. So everybody should go light on them in sparring. Not too light. You got to give them work. I'm just saying, hold back a little on the power and give them the work they want.
You know what? I actually know a couple couples who have met in the gym who are both professional fighters in some form or fashion, whether that be boxing or MMA or whatever, kickboxing, jujitsu. And I asked them collectively. I go, "Hey, do you guys ever roll together? Do you ever spar together?" And she said, "Yes, but we're not allowed to punch each other in the face." Because we have to go to bed together at night, and no one wants to be thinking about, "Oh man, really, bro?" I mean, and that works both ways. But let's get back to you. Get off of all of that. Um, you have an upcoming fight. You're training for it now. Do you walk around at your regular weight?
Um, I actually fought at 138 in 2024 and early 2025 February. But now I slowly moved up to 145, and now I'm fighting currently at 154.
Okay. And do you feel comfortable at that weight? Obviously, as you get older, your body will change, and you'll move up weight classes and figure that out. But right now, is that the most comfortable weight for you?
Actually, at 138, I felt I didn't really have that big of a punch. And at
Hmm.
145, and now that I'm 154, I feel that I have a huge punch, and it's showing in sparring. I
Hmm.
sparred the other day, and I just cracked him, and he didn't want to spar no more. That's because I'm at 154 now, and I'm bigger and stronger now, and now I got my punching power like my brother. And now it's time to show what I got to everybody, because now people are underestimating what I have because my last fight I lost, so now I'm the underdog coming up in this next fight. So people doesn't don't know what's coming.
Now, how did that loss a lot of fighters early on in their career, just like you, say, "That loss was the best thing that ever happened to me." The only thing I always say, the only thing that, uh a loss isn't technically a loss unless you don't learn anything from it. What did you learn from your last, fight?
I learned never to leave a fight in the judge's hands after that loss because first round. Now I was a slow starter. First round I lost, and second round I came out stronger. One judge had me winning the second, and had me winning the third. So it was a split decision. Two judges had him winning. One judge had me winning. So that was the fight right there.
Yeah, I mean, we've actually said it numerous times during this interview today. Don't leave it in the judge's hands. All right. So when's your fight coming up? What date is it?
Not a scheduled date right now, but usually the finals will be held in April. Usually for the Ringmasters, I won the Ringmasters in 2024. Actually,
That's awesome. How did that help boost your career?
that helped a lot get my name out there more and people looking at my content more. My podcast, actually, they started following it more, and I have a good following on Instagram. If you guys want to follow me on Instagram, the underscore what's underscore next underscore kid underscore. I have over 5,000 followers on Instagram, so thank you.
Well, and make sure that you follow me so that when these, because technically you're the host of this show right
Yeah,
now, even though I might have hijacked it from you, and I
a
apologize
little
for
bit.
that. I apologize to that. Um, it's just natural, and I'm sorry about that. But when these videos come up, because that's one of the great things about working with millions.co is they give us all the content. Make sure you collab with me on that. Definitely. Now, do you actually? Because I had a bunch of questions for you. Do you have any questions for me that I haven't actually covered?
I mean, you want to ask me anything else you have?
No, I kind of covered everything. I'm good here. I just don't. I don't want you to leave the interview going. Well, I really wanted to ask this one question. I didn't get a chance to. So.
Well, I want to know more about your show.
Well, I've got plenty of different shows. So I did a live show at the HyperX Arena at the Luxor Casino where I interviewed athletes on stage on Sundays, and that was one thing. My new show or shows actually, it's multiple shows. I don't actually have set dates for the starts. I don't actually have names for any of them quite yet. They're in development. But it's all going to be something that you're going to be able to follow and watch here on millions.co. And of course, on all of the social media platforms, it's at the Logan Summit Show. You can find me on any platform right there. One of the things that I love to do, though, is to talk to people, whether they be athletes, whether they're esports folks, just in or celebrities as well, and I just like getting out there and actually breaking it down a little bit. So during my interviews, one of the things that I do is I have this thing called 5 questions, and it's the rest of the interview will be what you would expect from a fighter interview or an athlete interview, right? We ask the questions, pump the promotions, do all of that, but then at the end of the interview, I give them a time to have an opportunity to show that personality because that's what sells you. Conor McGregor, I mean, is a decent fighter and everything, but him just being as crazy as he was and the swagger that he has and the way that he went about that boosted his acumen a million times over. So I like to get down to the personality. So I'll ask questions like Kendrick or Drake. If they're from Chicago, is it Jordan or LeBron? And things like that, and develop those kinds of questions and relationships with them as well. And I'll be doing that on my Tough Talk podcast and also on the new show that you'll be able to see here on millions.co with Cody James. Unnamed quite yet, but you can still go over to my platform here on millions.co and grab an interview, grab some merch, and have some fun. And I love your merch, bro. Dude, I love that, bro. That's good stuff.
By talk right here. Yeah, I gotta actually make it. I only made one for myself. I'm yeah.
Well, you know what? Again, millions.co will do that for you and allow you to be able to sell that stuff because I love it, man. That's a cool logo and it looks absolutely fantastic. Um, yeah, that's pretty much everything I'm doing for 2026. And it's a lot. I'm also going into management a little bit because I'm 47. And some folks have been asking me, wow, you're good at developing ideas and things of that nature. So I might be transitioning a little bit into the next stage of my career. Uh, I've shied away from it because I've been asked over the last probably 4 or 5 years a few times to do a management thing with folks, and I'm like, no, I'm not done yet, bro. I'm not that old. I still got some energy. I still got this. I can do this. But that's going to be something exciting for me to get into this year. But I've had nothing but a pleasure talking with you, Travis.
And right now, I'm actually trying to get some sponsorship and brand deals on my podcast right now. Right now, I am not currently sponsored by anybody and have no brand deals. So, right now, trying to get those sponsorships and brand deals. So, anybody watching right now and viewing, let me know if you would like to sponsor my podcast and brand deals. And make sure to follow me, the underscore what's underscore next underscore kid underscore. Thank you very much.
All right, Travis. Last question, and then we'll bid you adieu. Give me your top 3 companies that you love to work with.
In boxing promotion,
Just brands. Just I mean, really, the best brand deal is something that you like wake up and use every single day. But so like, if there was a wish list, a Christmas wish list for you of 3 brands that you'd love to be able to work with in 2026, who are they?
Under Armour would be one because they make the best stuff, and another brand would be Millions.co, who I'm already working with, and a third brand I would have to say. I would say Nike, but I actually brought this running shoe from Nike, and they sold me a used pair of running shoes this one time. So now, no Nike. So I would probably pick another brand, Puma.
Dude, I was literally, yeah, it's crazy you brought that up. I was literally going to say Puma, Travis. That's crazy. Oh, that's awesome, man. Well, you know what? I hope we can catch up sometime in the near future, before the fight, after the fight. Anytime you need me, my friend, I am here. I can't wait to watch your career escalate and see where these these trials and tribulations of being a professional fighter will take you. I wish nothing but the best for you and your family, and of course, a happy New Year as well, my friend.
Thank you. I wish you a happy new year as well. And I would just like to thank you for coming on the show and everything.
Well, thanks for having me, dude. It was fun, man. I enjoyed this. This was a good time. Sorry, like I do realize that I tend to do my thing a little bit. So I apologize about that. But I hope it was still fun and entertaining for you. And hopefully we got you some sponsorships. Because this man right here, this man, he comes from a fighting family and he grew up with that tutelage and that mindset. And you know what? He's still young enough where he's got so many places to go. If you're out there right now and you've watched this and you own a company, I don't care how big or how small it is, reach out to Travis and say, hey, I want to be a part of your career. Because when you get on the ground level, I can tell from this gentleman right here that if you get on the ground level, you're going to grow with him as he continues to get bigger and better at his boxing career.
And I'm a very loyal guy. I stick with you to the end.
That's Long Island for you, brother. Loyalty, number one thing that you need to have, right? I mean, it's one thing to say you're going to be there, but when you actually show up.
Yeah, you have to have that loyalty in order to have sponsorships because you have to stay with that sponsor. You can't just say, I'm going to do this and then you don't do it. You got to do it. You have to show up. You got to put the extra work in and everything.
All right, man. This is your show. Take us out, but make sure you follow me and collab with me on Instagram and all that rest of the stuff because I think we said some cool stuff. It'll be interesting to see how Millions.co makes that into shorts and whatnot. But take us out, Travis. And again, thank you so much for having me on your show and spending this time with me today.
Well, I usually get a lot of views on all my stuff on Instagram, but then the followers, like nobody really follows. Just they give me a bunch of views and not that many likes. Some videos get like 130 likes, some get zero. But that's how it is. That's how it is on Instagram and those platforms. And that's all I gotta say for you. And that's it. I just want to say, everybody, this was Fight Talk with your boy, the What's Next Kid here. And make sure to get me those sponsorships and brand deals and follow me on my Instagram, the underscore what's underscore next underscore kid underscore. And thank you very much for coming on the show today.
My pleasure, my friend. We'll talk again soon. All right.
I'll see you, man.